Wonder at the Jordan. Dear friends, in the previous story, didn't we see that the Israelites were ready to cross the Jordan River? We will see what happened further in today's story. In their journey after erecting the tabernacle, they traveled in an order, right? Here too, the officers gave the people clear instructions to follow. When they see the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord their God and the priests who are Levite carrying it, they were to move out from their positions and follow it. But they were to keep a distance of about 2,000 cubits between them and the Ark. And Joshua told the priests who were carrying the Ark to pass on ahead of the people. They obeyed that. And the Lord exalted Joshua in the eyes of all Israel, so they may know that God was with Joshua as he was with Moses. As per God's command, Joshua spoke to the people. Joshua also told them that as soon as the priests who carry the ark of the Lord set foot in the Jordan and stand in it, the waters flowing downstream will be cut off and stand up in a heap. Now the Jordan was at flood stage as it was harvest. Yet as soon as the priests who carried the ark reached the Jordan and their feet touched the water's edge, the water from upstream stopped flowing. It piled up in a heap a great distance away at a town called Adam in the vicinity of Zarethan, while the water flowing down to the Sea of the Arabah was completely cut off. The priests who carried the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord stood firm on dry ground in the middle of the Jordan. All Israel passed by on dry ground. Then, according to God's command, Joshua chose 12 men, one from each tribe, and told them to take up 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan, from where the priests stood, and carry them on their shoulders and put them in the place where they stay. Joshua also set up 12 stones in the middle of the Jordan, at the spot where the priests who carried the Ark of the Covenant had stood. And as soon as all of them had crossed, the ark of the Lord and the priests came to the other side while the people watched. No sooner had they set their foot on dry ground than the waters of the Jordan returned to their place and ran at flood stage as before. In the 41st year of their journey, on the 10th day of the first month, the people went up from the Jordan and camped at Gilgal. And Joshua set up at Gilgal the 12 stones they had taken out of the Jordan. These stones were to be a memorial to the people of Israel forever. If their descendants asked their fathers what these stones mean, they were to tell that God dried up the Jordan just like he did to the Red Sea 40 years ago for the Israelites to pass through. He did this so that all the people of the earth might know that the hand of the Lord is powerful, and so that they might always fear the Lord. The men of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh crossed over armed in front of the Israelites as Moses had directed them. About 40,000 men crossed over before the Lord to the plains of Jericho for war. That day the Lord exalted Joshua in the sight of all Israel, and they revered him all the days of his life, just as they had revered Moses. Now, when all the Amorite and Canaanite kings heard how the Lord dried up the Jordan before the Israelites until they had crossed over, their hearts melted, and they no longer had the courage to face the Israelites. Then, as per God's command, Joshua circumcised the Israelites, because the Israelites had moved about in the desert 40 years until all the men who were of military age when they left Egypt had died, since they had not obeyed the Lord. But all the people born in the desert during the journey from Egypt had not been circumcised. And after the whole nation had been circumcised, they remained where they were in the camp until they had been healed. On the evening of the 4th day after crossing the Jordan on the plains of Jericho, the Israelites celebrated the Passover as per God's command. 40 years ago, on the same day, they came out of Egypt, right? The day after the Passover, they ate some of the produce of the land, unleavened bread and roasted grain. The manna stopped the day after they ate the food from the land. Now, when Joshua was near Jericho, he saw a man standing in front of him with a drawn sword in his hand, and went up to him and asked, "Are you for us or for our enemy?" "Neither," he replied, "but as commander of the army of the Lord I have now come." Then Joshua fell face down on the ground in reverence. It was the walls of Jericho that now stood before the Israelites who crossed the Jordan. Now Jericho was tightly shut up because of the Israelites. No one came in and no one went out. Were these tightly shut up walls of Jericho able to stop the Israelites? We will see that in the next video. God bless you.